Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video on the Volkswagen Taigo. If you missed part one on this one, it has been involved in quite a naughty accident where the chassis legs have pushed that way. You can see this one is in the complete wrong place. It should be over here. This one also is bent round and the end of it has actually ripped off. We've had to remove the engine to start the process on this one. So we've just pulled it in, getting it lined up. We're going to get it up on a ramp and get it on some seal clamps.
Struggle a little bit with this time lapse as Chris was doing some inside, I was outside, back inside again. So up on the new ramp, under with the wheel chocks, down with the ramp, on with the seal clamps, get all four corners all buzzed up, and then we can go up in the air, remove the wheel stands out of the way, come down, ready to fit on that dozer.
So for those of you that didn't see, the first time Chris put a car on the new bench, basically the pads go on here, you lift the car up in the air, you lower the car back down onto the wheel stands over the back there, and then put these seal clamps on. Now the pads slide off, seal clamps slide on, and basically these are like the jaws of a vice. So you tighten all these up and it's got a grip of the car and it's holding it square on the jig. So just moving on now, we're going to get the dozer connected up and then hopefully move on to giving this one a bit of a tow.
So it's going to be a sideways pull on this, so you can see the angle Chris is fitting the dozer. Nice and straightforward to get on there, this one. One hook, one pin, and we're done.
Straight into a bit of excitement in this one. Go on, mate, ready when
you ready?
Yeah. It's got a long way to go, isn't it? So it should be quite noticeable. Oh dear.
Well, it's holding on the jig okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing slipped. Bit of strain on that now, Rob.
Little bit of creaking, mate.
Little bit of creaking. Good as new, I'd say. Hey,
That's a lot, isn't it?
You can see the flitch all going back into shape, can't you?
Let me lift this out. Wow. One pull, Chris.
Well, we'll give you a bit more.
That actually looks like it's where it's supposed to be.
It does, doesn't it? Shame we've got to replace it, but there you go. But yes, at least that's pulled everything back around where it should be.
And you can almost tell how much that's come out by how much is it used on that.
The full
nearly
extent of the ram, yeah.
Yeah, how much do you reckon it's going to come back when you let it off? I
Oh,
know you'll have to have a couple, but...
There will be... There you go.
Yeah, nowhere...
Oh no,
look at that, yeah.
We'll take that out and you'll see.
I mean, that's how much that's pulled that round, that slack in that chain.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. But already, this has started pulling itself all back into shape, hasn't it?
Yep.
Look how far away that is now from that chassis leg.
I know.
It's incredible,
Yeah.
isn't it? Look.
Yeah.
That was actually, you can see, touching.
I think we've mentioned this before, Rob, but they are a lot softer in that direction.
Yeah.
As opposed to when a car's had a hard impact that way. That's a lot
To pull it out, yeah.
But yeah, they are, because of the leverage, basically, of the length of the chassis leg. It's quite rare, unusual bit of damage. We've not come across that very often, where it's just clipped it, but clipped it with that amount of force to shear one of those off. That's,
We did promise something in the last video. We'd let everybody know what car actually hit this. And it was another Volkswagen. It was a...
Was it a... I nearly said Taigo. This is a Taigo. It was a...
the next one up.
It was the next one up, wasn't it?
I can't even remember now, but I will stick it in the video somewhere because it was another late Volkswagen car. Let's get the slack took out of this, and then I guess you're going to be pulling it
Yeah, I'm
once
going to
more.
pull that round a bit more. I suppose you could point out here, Rob, that I'm going to be cleaning off all this sealer, but we have found that there's a joint there, and I guess you could probably bring that picture up from Volkswagen that they kindly sent us.
Yeah, I'll include that now.
and that's the chassis leg. I think they've highlighted it in yellow, haven't they?
Yes.
And that's all what you get for your money in buying, and it's in 3 pieces.
It is.
Which, you know, indicates it's a joint there anyway. So that will be joined at a factory joint, if you want to call it that. So that's quite good.
I'll let you get the slack out of that, mate, and we get another pull on it.
But I think we're quite happy after just that last little tweak to now move on and do the other side.
So this side, you're just trying to take the twist
Yes,
out of that.
yes, a bit of stress, the twist out. It will aid making sure this flitch is back in the same place. Obviously, all of this is being removed, as you mentioned, but it's nicer if this is all back in its right place, or as near as possible, before we get to the unpicking stage. So,
But you're going to just, try and take that twist out of that, but
yeah,
people do like
we
this, so...
playing, don't we?
Yeah, yeah, sure we do. Oh, wow.
Like I say, they are pretty soft in that direction.
Yeah. Mate, I'm gonna pop outside and show something I haven't shown yet. So we'll leave Chris. He will mess around with that and do some other little bits to it. But huge thank you again to Reclamet. They come through for us. And what they did, we explained what we needed, and they've actually cut a whole front end off for us, which is perfect because now we've got all the measurements and datum points that we're going to need. And he's dropped it off and said, if you need anything else off that engine as well, we can remove that and pay for that. We know there's a few bits going to be a little bit different, but ultimately it is the same. That car is exactly the same, apart from these brackets are higher, which heighten up the wings, make the wings slightly taller, but everything in there is all exactly the same. I'm going to crack on and get this engine removed and start cleaning up some of this seam sealer, ready for Chris to actually start unpicking everything that we're going to need for that other car. But yeah, massive thank you to them guys again. And what they're going to do is, when one of their vans is passing, they're going to pick up whatever's left.
So me outside, removing both suspension legs. I've decided I'm going to leave the drive shafts in this one because they're pushing, not bolting, so we're going to bring them out with the actual engine. But nice and straightforward, all nuts and bolts. You've seen me do it before. I've got them off and I'm ready. Do you know, this is going so fast, I don't know what's going on here. I did say earlier on in the time lapse, where I was doing it outside, Chris was on the inside here. He was getting stuff done, I was getting stuff done. We got so much to get done in this video, we've just both cracked on with it. This video is proudly sponsored by Car Vertical. Let's get into the check on this Taigo. So theft, you can see all clear there. Odometer, again, all clear. Financial and legal, all clear. And damage detected, clearly highlighted there in amber. I'm going to show you a report that does include pictures and a bit more in depth about Car Vertical. So this Audi R8, and you can see there at the top, odometer, amber, financial and legal, amber, damage, amber. So I'm just going to scroll through this one. So theft, okay, but the rest of them all clearly highlighted there in amber. And what we can do on this actual check is go to the pictures. So here's the photos of this one. And as you can see there, it is at an auction house and it has got a little light impact on the near side front there. And moving on to picture number 7, you can see it's also hit really hard on the driver's side rear. This vehicle may have a fake mileage, last known mileage 72,000, and when you actually go on the mileage history and click on the rollback itself, it had done 77,000 miles in 2016, and then in 2017 it was actually written off. It got rolled back to 55,000 miles. And then again in 2020 it's back to 72,000. So definitely 100% been clocked, this one. And then on to the finance and legal. This vehicle may have finance restrictions. So no scrap marker, passed, not exported, not imported, and then outstanding finance. I'm not going to go into that, but lease. There's a good chance that one was one obviously before it got damaged and it hadn't quite updated. But of course, this is your must-do check when you're purchasing your vehicle, whether it's salvage or straight. I want to thank Car Vertical for the continued support on the SR channel. Guys, to benefit from a discount off your check, use the link up on screen now, or there's a link in the description. I'll drop both legs out, left the shafts in the gearbox. One's on our gearbox, actually bolt on this, they just push in. I didn't want to pull it out and just in case there was a little bit of oil in there. It has been depolluted, but you can see it's just rocking. I've got it sitting on that mount, it's all stripped out, and I've got one bolt left in here. Chris is just coming around the corner with a loader, and we're going to lift it out. One or two? I've got one bolt to undo. Do you want to take a bit of weight? Little tiny bit more. That's it. It's a long bolt. Yeah, go on, try that, mate. Slowly. Slowly. No, out. Go. You have to go down a tiny bit. Come down. All right, mate. I'm just going to continue undoing everything, I think, while I'm here. Behind there, you've got the steering rack. Get that disconnected from the column, and then start undoing a few of these bolts, I guess, and drop the engine bed out. I'll have a chat with Chris, see what way round he wants to do it, but you can clearly see now they're exactly the same. So in with a loader, get it tipped on its back, and then I can get to those 6 bolts. This one is moving very, very fast. While I was outside there stripping that donor panel, Chris has removed the subframe, removed the steering rack, got all of the bits out of the way, and look how much room there is in there now so that he can get in there. He's already got out the Worth whippy wheel, so it's quite a lot of you would have seen this on the channel before, wire brush basically, and he will now get in here and remove all of the seam sealer, everything you can see, to expose all of the spot welds and the joins in these panels, because of course you see in that picture earlier on, it is like a Meccano. It does come in pieces and it all welds to each other. So we're going to leave him to crack on, get all this seam sealer off, and there's a lot of it all the way around, and start exposing all of those joins and spot welds. 2 on the steering rack, 2 on the subframe at the back there, and there's actually 4 on the subframe. So 4 on the subframe, 2 on the steering rack, and then I can drop that down on the floor and then move straight on to that driver's side chassis leg. I want to get everything cleared off, all the wiring, aircon hoses, fuel pipes, get everything out of the way so Chris can see and get to it do his measurements and have a proper good look in there.
Perfect. We've now got the subframe that we need. It's going to need a little bit of cleaning up and a touch of paint here and there, but I also cleaned up everything, took the arch liner out, took the pipes off, and you can see now that whole chassis leg has exposed all of that seam sealer, so Chris can actually crack on and know what to cut off this, because we don't really want to bring the whole thing inside, but if we need to, we will. Of course, you can see I've stripped all of everything off on the inside here as well, so all this seam sealer's got to go until we can find the join. I think we're keeping this on our car, there's nothing wrong with it, so we'll be taking all this off and of course undoing those spot welds that are down there. I'm not going to record anymore, I'm going to clear all this side out, so engine mount off, washer bottle off, exactly the same, brake lines, ABS lines, get all that clear so that Chris can just tackle it straight away, measure up and go continue straight on with it. Let's do it. It's all going on in here. You've exposed it.
Yeah, got to found the
and there's no damage here at all. So, and that is your join.
yeah, so you can follow it round, Rob.
Oh yeah.
All the way round. That's one panel. Goes round there. That shouldn't be there.
No.
That's a split. See, that's torn.
Yes.
See there. And that panel goes all the way up to the front there, and that's what forms one side of the box section chassis.
The inner chassis leg, yeah.
Yeah, so
Right, mate. Well, I need to go and get some new spot weld drill bits because
yeah,
we wore them out on the last one, didn't we?
did, yeah.
I'll whip over and get you a packet of them, mate, and let you carry on. But yeah, you've exposed that, and I've stripped the other car outside. So again, you know where the join's going to be now, don't you? But
Well,
you did
yes.
say it'd be down there somewhere earlier on before you
yeah,
touched it.
You couldn't tell for sure because can you see how there's like a line there in the sealer?
I can.
And sometimes, you know, where you see the line is where the joint is, but on this occasion, it's just how they've kind of applied that. Like there, you see that?
Yeah.
Obviously, there isn't a joint there at all. That is just layers of sealer.
Seam sealer,
But yeah, so quite straightforward. That.
All right,
But again,
mate.
we did have the drawing to go off, so
Yeah.
it was like,
Yeah, it was nice,
knew it was
wasn't
going to
it?
be somewhere there.
Right, I'll go and get you some drill bits.
This is a very, very tedious job. I know those of you that watched the channel before have seen this, but drilling out spot welds, the spot weld drill bits are amazing bits of kit, and you can see Chris is just cracking on, wants to get that damaged leg removed off this car. There's so many spot welds holding these cars together, but I think he's pretty much there with it and exposed that hole. A lot of hard work into that already from Chris, but as you can see, that damaged chassis leg is gone, it's removed. He's got a couple of more little bits to remove, but you can see he has cleaned up all of the edge where that inside piece is going to go, and I think he's just got a couple of bits left to do on the outside to remove. And I know he's just gone outside, and you can see him in the background there, just having a good look and making some preparations, ready to remove that new one from that front end cut that we've got there. So I'm going to leave him to it. I'm currently messing around with this Porsche fitting the new bits. It's not a video, but we need to get that done. So we'll leave you with Chris and see how he gets on. Here he goes. Pen and paper, camera, tape measure. You can see he's doing all the different measurements. This is going to give us every measurement we need. Chris knows what ones he's going to be relying on, and they're the ones that he's taking off this undamaged front end. So all of the points are going to be perfect. You skiving, mate? All right, I've got gearbox oil and filter.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
And yeah, I might as well do the engine oil.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, Chris.
Yeah, so that was me notes, if you like, that I took out there.
Let me just take that sunshine off that, mate, sorry. Yeah, go on.
That was the notes I took out there.
Yeah.
Have you done a? Have
No,
you mentioned what I'm
no,
doing?
no.
Oh, I suppose we should probably mention
Yeah,
that
yeah, go on, yeah.
I took a load. We haven't got any data, have we?
No.
For the measuring system, so we're going old school, which is taking, before I cut the chassis legs out of that, and then you got no hope, have you really? I've took a load of measurements. I mean, you can zoom in on that if you want, Rob, I don't know. and I've chosen like a number of datum points, if you like, and then I've measured between those datum points. These ones here, not probably that necessary, because you've got the crash bar
To bolt
on that determines the spacing for those. But nevertheless, whilst positioning everything, it's handy, isn't it, to have as many measurements as possible. And then I've got diagonals here, and I've kind of, although you can't see them too great because the print has come up low on ink.
Yeah.
So it's a bit, but these are holes that are in the underside. So I've chosen that one and that one as a diagonal, that one and that one as a diagonal, and then those two are actually the subframe
bolts.
which again we would have a measurement for those, but I've measured it anyway. And then on the top side, so this is on the underside,
Yeah.
and then on the top side I've took one from that threaded engine mount bolt hole, centre of that, I've gone over to the centre of that bracket that sits there with a bolt hole in it. So if all of those measure up correctly, the chassis leg can't be in the wrong place, can it?
No.
It can only be in the right place. So,
What's next then?
so the next thing is, now that I've got enough, I'm quite happy, I've got enough measurements, I'm going to cut the first chassis leg out
Right.
and then go from there, really.
All right, mate, I'll let you get that done then. I'll carry on with this Porsche. Nice one, mate. They're bloody brilliant. And after that, straight out and cutting off that chassis leg out of that car. He did say he's going to take a bit more than what he actually needs, of course, because he needs to drill out some spot welds that are based on the inside. Once he's got that out, he can lay it on his bench, up, work on it, and work out exactly where he's going to do it and how much of it he's going to need. Like an absolute warrior this week, Chris. So the chassis leg is off.
It is, mate.
And you're making a start.
Yeah, let's show that. Yeah, probably a good time to mention, because I know in previous videos, Rob, people have asked about cutting compound.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've used all different over the last however many years. But this one is one that we got from PJS.
Yes.
Local.
Not sponsored.
No. And it's the best one I've found.
Oh, is it?
On that Volvo I used this, and I used one drill bit to drill everything off.
Yeah. £6.50 each.
And I'm
plus
still
that.
using it. And I'm still using it.
Oh, are you?
So yeah, it really does save the drill bits. So yeah, I mean, you can see how well that's still cutting. There's hardly any effort I'm putting on those. See how well that's cutting?
Yeah.
So that's I mean, it's not cheap. What was that? £10.50 plus that.
Are we saying this is light work?
But it does. I mean, it doesn't half help with those.
Yeah.
But I've cleaned a lot of this. That's what all the mess is, Rob. I've cleaned all the seam sealer off, and I don't know if you want to zoom in there. You can see where this part of the chassis ends.
So this is your bulkhead.
That's part of the bulkhead, yeah. So there's a piece there, a flange there, if you like, and a flange going down there under this reinforcing, which unfortunately I'm going to have to remove to get the new one in. So I've chopped through the old one, but what I've cut off here, and you can see where I've got a drill. I think it's that one, these ones down through here. I've got a drill off to get that bit of bulkhead out of the way.
Right.
And that is, like I say, there's not many. There's three there, so it is those three. And then there's those two there, and then across here. So not too sad really. And then marrying up with what I've done there, obviously drilling that off, and this piece that comes down here that I've got to drill off is obviously that piece.
Yeah.
So
in all fairness, well, just quickly, how much further are you going to get in this video?
well, there is a lot of unpicking to do there now.
Chris, I don't think we're going to be able to get much more, to be honest.
No, I suppose probably it's as good a point to say.
That's the end of today's video. I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you did, as usual, hit that thumbs up. We would really appreciate it. And of course, it shows your appreciation. You can follow Chris on his jollies on his Instagram at Salvage Rebuilds Chris. You can also follow us on Instagram at Salvage Rebuilds. Don't forget, like, subscribe. We'd appreciate you hitting the share button. We'll see you very, very soon
We certainly will.
in the next one.